We'll recap Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. The story begins with a 29-year-old programmer, and he is named Suzuki Ichiro. He's been busy working on a game development team, and now he's fixing bugs in the game Freedom Fantasy Life. At the same time, there is a problem with novice players needing help completing the War World game, so they want the level of difficulty lowered. Because that, he prepared an item that revealed the map and 3 bombs to defeat the enemy. Even though it is simple to implement, it takes a long time. In the end, he worked for days until he fell asleep and never woke up again. After that, he suddenly woke up in another world with the combination of the 2 games he was developing before. He plays a character named Satu, whose face returns to his 15-year-old high school days. Even though his status and level were still very weak, an army of lizardmen was heading his way. Satu, who felt pain when hit by a lizardman attack. He panicked and immediately used 3 meteor skills, resulting in an army of monsters being slaughtered. Even though there is one lizardman who is still alive, Satu manages to defeat him. He was already level 310 after defeating many monsters and obtaining a large amount of loot and money. Besides that, he also gets many skill points to improve his abilities. Then he raised the level of his meteor skill and tried the skill to be sure of the destructive power it caused. But the explosion was too big. Fortunately, he managed to get out of that place. After that, Satu uses the loot he has obtained and strengthens himself by maximizing his power status. Then he intended to go to the nearest town, but suddenly he was hit by the Dragon Wiper. Fortunately, he wasn't injured because he was already level 310. Then the dragon immediately ran away after being thrown a rock by Satu. However, the dragon headed toward where the city warriors were. Warriors attacked the dragon. Then there was a beautiful girl who attacked the dragon with magic, but instead, she was blown away into the sky. Seeing this, Satu immediately saves her and gets the title of savior. The beautiful girl named Xena was grateful and fell in love with Satu. Then came Xena's friends, who suspect Satu, but Satu manages to gain their trust with reasoning and counterfeiting abilities boosted to the full. After that, they allow Satu to come with them to the city in return for saving Xena. Once there, Xena says she will return to repay Satu's kindness. Then Satu made an identity letter so he could live in the city. When Satu registered, he was still level 1 because he hid his true status from others. Then he was permitted to live in the town, but he had to pay taxes every 10 days. Otherwise, he would become an enslaved person in the city. After that, Satu wanted to find an inn. Suddenly, there was a beautiful 13-year-old girl named Martha.
13歳13歳にしては不相応なこの感触ぽよぽよは正義です
She immediately took Satu to her inn. Once there, Satu intends to target Martha's mother, even though Martha is a beautiful young girl.
いや20キロ軽かったらストライクゾーンだったのに
You can be sure this main character has his taste. When Satu needs clothes, Martha will accompany him to find new clothes. Satu enjoyed shopping with Martha, even without realizing he was buying things he didn't need because he got carried away. Meanwhile, some enslaved people are demi-humans who are treated harshly. Seeing this, Satu immediately protects them. Even Satu helped tidy up their luggage. Martha explained that demi-humans were hated in the city because some of them had killed humans. After finishing buying daily needs, Satu returned to the inn to rest. The next day, Xena invites Satu to tour the city. They headed to the trading center and bought various delicious foods, but someone bumped into Xena and got her clothes dirty. Fortunately, a wizard can clean it up. So her clothes are clean, and they continue their date comfortably. Afterward, they headed up the wall to feel the fresh breeze and see the beautiful scenery. When they got on the horse-drawn carriage, they saw the residents throw 3 enslaved people stones, because the head priest accused them of being followers of the demon, even though it was a lie to make money. Satu also knows there are provocateurs there, so he paralyzes them and arrests the owner of the 3 enslaved people.
あんたの出番だよ皆さんこの男が首謀者です
After Sadu revealed his crime, suddenly, a demon came out of his body. The demon instantly teleported them all into the labyrinth. While in the labyrinth, Sadu was separated from Xena, but he was with the previous 3 enslaved people. Since the 3 don't have names, Sadu gives them the name Lisa, Posi, and Tama. Then Sadu gives Lisa a weapon so she can protect them from the labyrinth monsters, while Posi and Tama will watch over the around. Then they meet a monster, and Sadu easily defeats it using a magic weapon. Then Lisa took the monster's core, and she explained that the monster core could be sold to merchants for money. After that, Sadu wanted to raise their level to become stronger by fighting monsters, so that they can defeat the monsters without help from Sadu. Because fighting makes them tired, Sadu gives them food and asks them to sleep so their stamina recovers. Then they continued exploring the labyrinth.
スライムを倒すときは核さえ狙えばこのように容易に倒せます。
They found that there were many people trapped in the cobwebs. Once freed, they will help Sadu in return for saving them. Then they meet a soldier having trouble fighting a slime monster, but Sadu and the others easily defeat the slime by destroying its core. There is also Xena. She is happy to be reunited with Sadu. When they wanted to continue exploring the labyrinth, the soldiers suddenly found a treasure chest. But the previous demon appeared from inside the chest. The demon used hypnosis so that the soldiers fought each other. Sadu immediately paralyzes Lisa, Posi, and Tama so they don't fight each other. But he is attacked by a monster which makes him fall into a ravine. Luckily, he can still survive. Sadu uses the holy sword to defeat the monster. Even Sadu uses a mask to hide his identity when fighting demon monsters. When the demon is cornered, a stronger demon appears there, and Sadu manages to injure it with low-level fire magic.
Fire shot!
Sadu also uses the magic sword and slashes the demon. After the demons are defeated, they can get out of the labyrinth. Sadu allowed Lisa and the others to continue along with him. Besides that, he also contracted with other enslaved people named Arisa and Lulu. Arisa is a cheerful girl, while Lulu is a shy girl. Sadu bought them because he suspected that Arisa was from Japan.
雲が髪についてるよ。俺が囁いたのは日本語。
Sadu treats his enslaved people with great care, giving them good food and choosing nice clothes. When they returned to the inn, it turned out full. So Lisa and the others sleep in the stables, while Sadu sleeps with Arisa and Lulu. Getting used to being enslaved people, Arisa and Lulu want to give Sadu a night service. However, Sadu doesn't want to do that, because he doesn't want to get the Lalakan title. Lulu suddenly burst into tears of joy, and slept comfortably that night. At the same time, Arisa doesn't give up, and uses seduction skills to make Sadu feel horny.
欲しい。アリサが。待て。俺はいつからロリコンになった。アリサ、魔法とスキルの使用を禁止する。これは命令だ。
But Sadu immediately ordered Arisa not to use the skill. Arisa does that because she is in love with Sadu.
ベッドに潜り込んで寝顔を見てたらムラムラしちゃって。
Then Arisa introduces herself as a Japanese person reincarnated in that world. That's why Arisa knows that Sadu is Japanese from his appearance. Not only that, but Lulu also looks Japanese because her grandfather is Japanese. Then Sadu asks why Arisa could become enslaved, and Arisa tells that she used to be a princess. She used the knowledge of the old world to make her kingdom prosperous, but there was someone who betrayed and made the kingdom fall. In the end, Arisa, the princess, was forced to become enslaved. After that, the kingdom was suddenly attacked by demons until it was destroyed. Meanwhile, Arisa and Lulu managed to escape and headed for the forest. While in the woods, they get lost and are picked up by slave traders. The next day Xena visits the inn, and a misunderstanding occurs because Sadu sleeps with another woman. Sadu immediately chases after her and explains the truth to resolve their misunderstanding. At times like that, Sadu gave her compliments and asked her around, so their relationship got better.
清楚さの中に華やかさがあります。ゼナさんの魅力を引き出してくれてますよ。
Arisa and the others are shopping. Sadu and Xena look for houses or inns that demi-humans can use. A woman named Natty suggests various dwellings, from an empty house where there was a murder, a home close to a brothel, to the house of a former criminals union. All of that is unsuited to be a place for Sadu to live. He had to return later this afternoon because Natty would be looking for another house. After that, Sadu and Xena wanted to see a drama performance, and when they headed there, they met Arisa and the others. As a result, they all watched drama performances together. The play tells of a dead wizard who becomes undead, and takes revenge on a bastard noble, because a noble had taken his wife and even killed his entire family. So he wanted revenge and killed the nobleman. But after the revenge was over, he was killed by a holy knight. After watching the drama, Xena meets her friends who are injured. At the same time, there are flying ants attacking the city. Even though there was a barrier in the town, some flying ants managed to penetrate it. And even one of the monsters broke into Natty's house. Natty was rescued by Sadu and her manager, who is elf. So Natty gives them a kiss in exchange for saving her. In the afternoon, the monsters were defeated and could return to the inn comfortably. Then at night, Sadu went around town and met residents who took Sadu to a beautiful woman's place. Because he was carried away by lust, Sadu got female satisfaction skills. However, after that, a shadowy figure attacked him. Sadu defeated them all and met the mouse man carrying a princess. Sadu takes them to Natty's house, and the princess is an elf named Mia. The next day, Sadu returns to the inn. Knowing Sadu stopped by the brothel, Arisa is annoyed, even though she also wants to give a night service to Sadu. After that, Sadu checked Mia's condition, and her condition was healthy. While Mia was very interested in Sadu because there were many spirits around Sadu, but Sadu doesn't see where the spirits are.
その精霊っていうのはどういったものなのかな？
ふわふわ。キラキラ。
キラキラ？
Then Natty offers a horse carriage to Sadu. Knowing that Lulu can drive a horse-drawn carriage, Sadu decides to buy it and gives the money to Natty to prepare it. After finishing lunch, Natty delivered the carriage and documents, so Sadu officially became the owner. He soon learns to ride it together with Lulu, even though Lulu is quiet, but it turns out she talks a lot when talking about Arisa. When Sadu was learning to drive a horse-drawn carriage, a suspicious owl was always watching wherever they were. When he returns to Natty's place, the undead king suddenly appears who wants to kidnap Mia. The undead king used magic to paralyze their consciousness, but Arisa managed to counteract the magic. Then Sadu immediately fights against him. Meanwhile, Arisa uses a unique skill and manages to injure him. But he immediately took Mia somewhere. Seeing this, Sadu immediately chased after him. In the end, he was trapped in a shadow prison. However, Sadu escaped the shadow prison and arrived at the undead king's headquarters. He said only heroes who managed to overcome obstacles should be there. So suddenly, Sadu is moved outside. And it turns out that he has to overcome obstacles to save Mia. Sadu explored the place from the first floor. He also looked for a shortcut to go to the 200th floor. So he met Dryad, who could move him to the 100th floor, but Sadu had to give her magic energy. Upon arriving at the 100th floor, Sadu encounters a female homunculus and an iron golem. Fortunately, Sadu knows the golem's weakness, which is why he can beat it easily. Homunculus 5 and 6 flee elsewhere. However, Sadu managed to make Homunculus 7 faint.
倒れるまま放置するなんてできないから仕方ない。そう、仕方ないのだ。
Shortly after that, he reached the 200th floor and met the king of the undead. The undead king will hand over Mia if Sadu defeats the 6 homunculus and golem. Sadu has a much higher level than them. Because that, Sadu cannot be beaten by them. Even though they knew they couldn't win, they fought hard to fulfill the undead king's wish. After that, Sadu meets the undead king and gets the holy sword. Then he told Sadu that he was a reincarnation. After getting a new life in that world, he lives happily with his wife. But one day, a nobleman snatched his wife, and his family was executed on trumped-up charges. However, he revived as the undead king and avenged himself by slaughtering the nobles. After achieving his goal, he intends to die to meet his wife. But the gods gave him immortality. That's why he was looking for someone who could end his life. At that time, only Sadu could do it. After the undead king disappeared from there, all the floors in that place were destroyed. However, the undead king had prepared a teleportation for Mia. Knowing this, Sadu gathers 6 homunculus to be beside Mia so they can be safe. Meanwhile, Sadu saved homunculus number 7. Even though they managed to get him out of that place, they were chased by a huge wave of water. After that, Sadu survived and was reunited with the others. The homunculus thanked Sadu, and one of them decided to go with Sadu. She was given the name Nana. Then Sadu returns to the city and meets Xena. Xena is very worried about Sadu because she loves Sadu very much. Sadu intends to leave the town the next day to take Mia back to the elf village. Before that, Xena wanted to go with Sadu, but Xena had to wait for spring to come, because his younger brother or sister would be the head of the family, so that Xena can freely choose her path in life to join the adventure with Sadu. Then Arisa talked about storing items that are usually in the game. Arisa can use them to store luggage. However, storing the item consumes a lot of magic energy. The journey that Sadu and the others took went smoothly. They didn't even encounter any attacks from monsters or bandits. Then they rested somewhere while repairing the straw pads. Sadu also makes dolls for them from leftover cloth.
マスター、この妖精体は保護すべきだと進言します。ふわふわで丸くて、そう、可愛いのです。
The next day, while they are resting, Arisa finds the ruins of a Torii gate. Seeing the ruins makes Sadu remember his life in the previous world. But since he had also made a temple-themed game before, he was curious if those memories were of the prior world. After that, Sadu got the undead king's relics, one of which was a shadow magic spell. Sadu thinks that the magic in the world is akin to a programming language. Therefore, he did various research to create new types of magic. At that time, he was so focused on doing it that he didn't realize that his hand had touched Nana's boobs. In the middle of their journey, they met a mouse man. Nia thanked them for protecting her from the previous undead king attack. Nia also prays for the mouse man who died while saving her. Arriving in the city, Sadu went to a place to eat alone and treated everyone there. Then Sadu is taken to the room by a beautiful woman and performs the night service full of pleasure. The next day, Sadu went to a town to buy some ingredients to make potions. But when he got there, Sadu was interested in magic scrolls, so Sadu decided to disguise when buying it. When Sadu entered the illusory forest alone at night, suddenly, he was attacked by a sorcerer's student. Unable to fight Sadu, the young witch gave up and called her teacher, a magician who ruled the illusory forest. Knowing that Sadu is escorting Mia, he welcomes Sadu well. She's even willing to give a special potion recipe if Sadu wants to help her. The next day, the magician's apprentice is in trouble because a group of people destroys the potion to be sent to the nobles. The nobles deliberately did all this so that the agreement between the two regions was cancelled, so they could seize the illusory forest currently controlled by the witches. Knowing this, Sadu can't let them take the illusory forest at will. He plans to make potions again, even though the situation is not possible to get a potion bottle. Sadu asks for help at the craftsman's place, but creating the bottle in such a short amount of time was a difficult challenge. Drying usually takes as long as 5 days. Otherwise, the bottle will break, but Mia uses cooling magic to dry the bottle. Even Sadu makes a bottle out of clay quickly. Meanwhile, the witch was making potions with the others. While the bottle was being heated, the previous noble suddenly sent someone to destroy the kiln along with the bottle there. But Sadu already suspected that, so he moved all the bottles into storage. With this, they can send potions according to the order quantity. But the nobles wanted to avoid signing, even though the potion had been received. Then came a noble Kuhanu, who was very disappointed that bad people ruled his city. He revoked all his power rights for having committed treason. He intends to kill them. However, he was stopped by Sadu because there were children. Then all the problems are solved, and Sadu and the others can continue the adventure.
マスター、お願い、懇願します。
The next day, Nana begs Sadu to channel magic energy into her body, so it can restore her strength. On the other hand, Xena gets a letter from Sadu about his journey. The next day, in the morning, Sadu becomes a harem king surrounded by many beautiful girls.
ルルの顔を可愛いと思うよ。
かわいい。
And that is the end of the video. Remember to subscribe and like this video, so see you in the next video.